Hey there, you are listening to another episode of the VetCareTraining podcast. In this episode, I am interviewing a graduate of my program called the Cooperative Care Kick-Start, Jessica Mikels. So, without further ado, welcome Jessica to the VetCareTraining podcast. And before we dive into this conversation, don't forget to subscribe for this podcast so that you can stay up to date with future episodes. I very much appreciate everyone who subscribes for the VetCareTraining podcast because it helps the podcast grow, reach more people, and share this message with the horse world. So thank you again for subscribing, and now let's get to today's episode. Hello, Jessica. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you so much.
Jessica, you were one of my amazing students in the first round of the Cooperative Care Kick-Start, and you joined to train with your horse, Penny. So can you tell us a little bit about Penny and about your journey with her?
Yes, yeah. So Penny is now an 11-year-old Welsh Cob, and we started her, let's see, we got her when she was just 4, and so she was completely green, which was very interesting considering I had very minimal horse experience before her, other than leasing, a 20-year-old horse that was,
Very different.
very different and just, a very agreeable personality and it completely broke, all those things. And then we got Penny, and my gosh, I had to learn a lot from Penny. So we started her um, at one house where the lease was as well, and then she was boarding there, and they were working with her, and then we wanted her to also be able to be worked in the winter, so we moved her somewhere with an indoor arena. And at that point, we were trying natural horsemanship, and it was not good. I think she hates pressure. I truly believe it now. At the time, I was suspicious of it,
Yeah,
of
many
the
horses
pressure.
do actually, but many horses are not, to say, brave enough maybe to tell that they hate pressure actually. But
Hmm.
yeah, I have seen more horses choosing when they really get to choose if they want to be trained with pressure at release versus with positive reinforcement. They really choose positive reinforcement,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and
unsurprisingly.
she really did. I mean, we were having a lot of issues, and I remember my feeling always with the that approach, particularly like ideas of dominance that come in and things like that. I always thought she has the upper hand, right? She's a pony, but she's still 800 pounds. Like she
Yeah.
ultimately has the upper hand here, and so this idea that I'm like her, alpha that she will then, follow because I put pressure on her. It never sat comfortably with me, and it very clearly did not sit comfortably with her. So I went through a couple trainers. I had one tell me she's the kind of horse that ends up in a kill pen.
Oh
And at that
no.
point I was like, I gotta figure this out.
Yeah,
And I
just
had
just one
experience.
short note for the listeners. Penny is a very sweet mare, and I would never guess that someone would say something like this about her. No,
No,
not a
no,
problem horse at all.
no, not at all. Just didn't like pressure.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
wasn't going to submit to that, right? Like she was going to make her voice heard, that was not something that she was comfortable with.
Yeah,
And
the thing with dominance training is that when you really put pressure, you have to maintain it because yeah, the whole concept of the dominance theory, I mean, it was disproven so many times, and for
I
the first
know,
time, this very author of this, of this
oh,
dominance theory disproved it because it was about wolves, it wasn't about
mhm.
horses, but he observed wolves in some um, like a large pen or
It was a
enclosed
captive
area.
setting.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
totally. And he
Hmm.
found that there is some alpha, there's linear dominance, but then when he did the same with the wolf in the wilderness, he found out that it isn't actually true. But he released book, on dominance theory, and the book was out there. And I think this is where it all started, because it is so pleasing for the human ego,
Oh,
to
oh
feel
my
like
gosh,
an
that's so
alpha.
true.
Yeah, but
Yes.
animals, they don't subscribe to this theory. They have
Mm-mm.
different relationships, and they absolutely know that we are not horses, or wolf know, dogs
Exactly.
know that we are not dogs.
Yes. Yes, that was one thing I always thought is she doesn't think I'm a horse. Like she's
Yeah,
way smarter than that, you know?
totally.
Yeah, and so I had experience, before horses with other animals as well. I'd worked with, well, I was doing primatology early on in my work. So I'd worked with captive chimpanzees and captive
Wow.
baboons, and then I did, wild studies in Suriname of New World monkeys, and then I'd also worked at like a humane society, and I just have a lot of pets.
Wow,
And so
that's
I
so
was,
amazing.
yeah. So, oh, and I also did, I think this is really cool. I did work in my undergrad with Rudolf Yonder, and he got his PhD under Frisch, who is discovered the dance of the honeybee. So,
Wow,
which is really cool. He was amazing. That was topographic orientation of the house mouse. Um,
amazing.
yeah. So I had all this like, while I had never done positive reinforcement training myself, I had observed it, particularly with the chimpanzees, and it's amazing. And so I knew like, okay, there's this other way of being with animals, and even though the horse world is telling me this is the way to be with horses, I knew I had to find another way. And so that's when I found, I mainly started with Jessica Gonzalez's book.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah, she's great. So with what is her place? The Empowered Equine up in Maine. Um, and Penny and I just figured it out. Like, and so we
Her
went
business is
through,
called the Empowered Equines, or Empowered Equestrians, or something like this, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
empowered equines. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
she does a
her.
great work. Yeah.
She's amazing. She does all rescues of these
Uh-huh.
draft horses. I got to visit her farm a few years ago, which was
Wow.
really awesome. Yeah, so anyway, so Penny and I figured it out together. And there were still, let's see, so now we've been doing this together. We're almost at 6 years of her and I doing positive reinforcement together. There were still some sticking points, particularly with touch. She's not a high touch horse unless she wants to be touching, and then she's very high touch. And so that's when I found you, and my gosh, it like your class just took us to this next level. And I think it was, I tried to reflect on like I've been doing it for so long, what changed? And I think it was the attention to the subtlety. And not that I wasn't paying attention to that, but a lot of times she'd give me a subtle no and I just kind of go in for it still.
Mm-hmm.
And this realization of like that subtle no is really meaningful to her and I need to listen to it.
Yeah, because otherwise she would be louder and louder. Yeah,
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
mean, thank you very much. Thank you for
Yeah.
a nice review that you left for the program, and
Yeah.
yeah, thank you.
Well, it's my
I'm
favorite
really
thing to talk about,
Oh,
so.
really? I'm really glad that you like it and that it helped you with Penny, because, yeah, I witnessed your progress, and really, I saw the thing with the touch, because you know how you guys, all of the students, sent me the videos to review. I saw that at some point she wouldn't be really happy with you touching her. I mean, she was happy with you, like kind of happy, let's say, with you touching her on her neck, shoulders, but then on her back, she wasn't happy at all. And it was really one moment of you realizing this subtle no, that it clicked. And it
Yeah.
just clicked,
Yeah.
and her behavior changed so much. No.
Yes, yes.
It was
Yeah, it's
just this little
shocking to
shift.
me. Yeah, it was such a very, very subtle change. Like that now, I mean, I'm now doing, her feet at Liberty. I'm doing brushing her whole body at Liberty. Like all of these things now that, it used to be, she's very face oriented, right? She always really kind of wants you right there at her face. I don't ride her. So she's not used to humans being behind, right? But letting her kind of realize like, hey, I'm coming right back. I think that's what it like I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna listen to you, but then I'm coming right back. Like, and she's now like, you do that. Like, you do your thing, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I also liked your setups. You had very nice training session setups. Can you tell us a little bit more about this? What tools you like to use, and how you set your working station, let's say, and your default station? Because I saw it all on your videos, and it was just great.
Yeah, yeah. So we came in with already like the established kind of positive reinforcement. So she already was really good at targeting. And so I just use telescoping fly swatters, that I find online
Yeah, very
as her
inexpensive target
target.
and a very good one.
Very
Yeah.
inexpensive, exactly. If she breaks it, which when we first started, she did like
Yeah.
to break them. Um, now she doesn't always, though she still sometimes tries to throw them around a little bit. Um, but so she already had really good targeting skills in terms of, and I call it nose, and so she puts her nose on things, and I can move it around, and so it was easy to be like, okay, that just needs to become stationary. Um, and so I simply just put it into a cone. And so then the fly swatter part is, coming out the top. She also was already trained to target on a mat, or station on a mat, whichever term is correct there. But so she likes both. I was trying to decide, like, oh, should I just use the mat? Should I just use the target? I actually knew that just using the mat wouldn't work for her because she's very busy. And so she needs something to do, if even
Yeah,
if it's
yeah.
just like that she's touching her nose to something, that's something for her to do versus like she just has her feet on something. So anyway, so I set up the mat, you know within the distance of her front legs to her nose to the target coming out of the cones. And then I had her bucket, where we would kind of start the sessions and in the sessions
Mm-hmm.
behind her. And that was something before I did your class. I'd actually watched some of your videos before,
Uh-huh.
and I misunderstood. Like I think some of it was that some of the horses you work with are really advanced. And some of it is that like I needed to figure out what Penny needed. So I used to try to do it with the bucket right beside the target,
Uh-huh. Yeah, it can
thinking
be
like
can be kind of confusing for the horse.
it,
Yeah,
it was
for the
very,
advanced
yes.
horse who already knows what to do, it's easy, but in the beginning it can be a little bit confusing.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
you
And
solved the
so
problem just right.
yeah, so I moved it away, further away. And then
Yeah.
because she is, a very outspoken horse, she's still like, if she's done, she's going to walk away. Like, she's not going to consent if she doesn't feel like she wants to consent. So I feel good about that. Like, if
Yeah.
she's there, she's truly there consenting. Um, and the walking away, what I notice is either she's giving me the subtle nose and I didn't listen, or I went too long, or a lot of times too, because she drinks a lot of water in training. So a lot of times she'll leave to go, she's always allowed to leave to go get water. So a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times she'll leave to go get water and then come right back. So
Mm-hmm.
it's fine,
Hmm.
right? That's up to her. But so yeah, so her water is off further, and then I always have a hay bag in another part of our training area. But in
Amazing.
terms of the consent-based training, that's how it's set up. And now what I've been doing with training is that because when I was in the class, I was just, it was pretty intensive. And so that was great.
Yeah,
But
it
I was
was.
just focusing on the consent. So now I set up the arena with my consent area and then with our more kind of movement based area where I'm going to do ground poles and things like
Uh-huh.
that. And then she gets to
Yeah, it's
choose.
amazing just to think about a consent area. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so is this your area where you do like cooperative care stuff, and then in a different area of the arena you do some movement exercises, and then you maybe come back to your consent area, or how do you do it?
Yeah, yeah. So that's exactly what it is. And I should say it's all consent based, right? It's not like the other area is not consent based, but
Mm-hmm.
it's more that we're going to be doing movement, right? She likes to push balls around the arena. I like to do ground poles with her because she needs it for, exercise for her core. Um, different things, learning to like walk to something. She has go to cone as a command and I've extended those pretty far. Well, she will walk to cones. So we have kind of the whole arena for that. And then that corner where I have the target and the cone and the mat and the bucket is there. But then what I do is I let her choose. So
Mm-hmm.
if she walks to the bucket, I say, okay, we're going to do bucket. And bucket means we're going to do the consent care,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
The consent-based care training.
Uh-huh.
Um, and then once we've gone through something, maybe it's, working on clippers, or we just got through spring shots, which I'll talk about in a little bit, but,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
working on that.
Yeah, please
Um,
talk about that because
yeah,
yeah, you emailed me about your spring shot and
yes,
how well it went. So yeah, I'm curious.
yeah, yeah. So we worked a lot in your class and then leading up, using the toothpick to poke
Mm-hmm.
her with, and got to the point that like I could poke her pretty good, for five
Mm-hmm.
seconds or so. Um, so when the vet came out, she first did a chiropractic adjustment. So we did that, um, away from where we were going to do shots, excuse me. Um, so that, so that, just because we needed that area to be very, like her to be very ready to do the
Yeah,
shots. Because
yeah, very
last year's
concept based
shots,
and very positive.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. Because last year, so previous shots, this is something I've been trying to do is just take over more of her care because she boards. And I think the main way they've done shots is they kind of corner her head in the stall, which
Mhm.
works, and sometimes just has to be what you do. But obviously, I wanted to move her to, um, something, more consent based.
Yeah, yeah. When the
So,
horse
yeah,
doesn't have problems with injections, it usually works. It can work well for many horses for many years, but then still you can get to the point when the horses know and all these years of, negative experience snowball and then the horse has a big reaction. So, yeah, I totally understand. Mm-hmm,
yeah,
mm-hmm.
yeah.
And
So I wanted to get her
injections
somewhere
were,
else.
yeah,
Well, and also, like, my thought is, like, and she's not there yet, but like a blood draw. We're not cornering her
yeah,
head for a blood draw.
yeah,
So we need to get to the point where, if she needs one, that we can do this. And
absolutely.
we're not quite there yet. But last year I tried with my like limited ability of doing consent-based care. And she bolted, right? The first shot went in,
Uh-huh.
she bolted. I was drug along.
Uh-huh.
We had
Do
to
you
do this.
think it could have been because you didn't know then her subtle nose and you could say, she maybe whispered her little no and you maybe did something like, oh, come on, just hold on.
Yeah. Well, and it's so hard too when the vet is there. And now my vet is
Yeah.
very e- pro positive range. She doesn't use it
Hmm.
herself, but I
Oh,
mean, I
that's
think
amazing.
it's interesting, like, because I think she probably kind of does. She doesn't use clicker, right? But
Uh-huh.
she is very for it. She's not like, oh, what is this nonsense? Like you get from some. But you also, you know, I don't know. I live in an area where people don't treat their horses this way. And so then I'll feel
Hmm.
really nervous of like, oh, my horse, I have to prove that this is working. And so my horse has to be perfect. Uh,
A
and
lot
then
of
meanwhile, I'm seeing
pressure,
other
isn't it?
horses misbehave
Yeah.
why do I allow them? Like, you know, so I think there was, both that we really hadn't established our consent signals and
Hmm.
I wasn't listening well and I had this like pressure on me of, completely of my own making, but like that
Yeah.
okay, she's got to do it right. Um so anyway, so the second shot then that over a year ago we had to corner her head, right? We got it done. It
Hmm.
was fine.
Hmm.
So this year we took her, she did the adjustment first, then we took her to her consent-based area, like the setup I was just saying, though I kept her on a line. Normally she wouldn't
Uh-huh.
be on the line in that area, but we did need to kind of, have her a
Yeah,
little more
it's
contained.
way safer. It's way safer. I mean,
Yes.
we usually train cooperative care with the horse who is completely at liberty, but
Hmm.
then at some point it totally makes sense to start adding halter and lead line or a lead rope or something, which is kind of done the other way because
Yeah.
the reversed way, let's say, because the horse first learns to accept the procedure and to give consent, and then we add some kind of restraint. But with this kind of restraint, the horse still has to learn that they have a choice.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I totally get it. I do it the same way because honestly, I, as a vet, if I came to my client who I know trains with positive reinforcement, I probably wouldn't be 100% sure if I want to do it at Liberty for safety
Hmm.
reasons because
Yeah,
the situation is different. And
yeah,
when the vet is there, you usually kind of have to do the procedure. Um, of course, if it goes really, really badly, then you can say, okay, it's not a matter of saving life. Let's do it some other time. But other than that, the horse kind of has choice, but in the way they don't have a choice. So
right,
I
right,
totally get it.
indeed. Yeah, yeah. So, and that was one thing where I would like to in the next year have more time to do shot practice on a line and with somebody she doesn't know.
Uh-huh.
Because that like she was fine with the vet. She actually was not letting the vet touch her at the very beginning of the
Hmm.
adjustment. And then the vet said, I'm just gonna lay my hands on you. Look, I'm just doing this. And then she was like, oh, this is fine. Um, so we did the first shot. We did some consent at the target, just general touching the neck, all that. And then
With
what
the
I
vet?
did
Did you
with
do
the
it
vet,
with the vet? Oh,
yes, with
great.
the vet touching the
Uh-huh.
neck. And then what I did, because this was, our first time, is I did have a bucket in front, and
Hmm.
I just threw in. I was like, I'm gonna throw some stuff in there that you
Yeah, yeah, that's a
and so
smart thing to do, actually. Yeah.
yeah. So we'd already prepared her. She knew we were messing with her neck. She knew that she was standing in her consent space. Um, I threw the treats in. The vet did the first shot, and she let the shot happen. Then she walked off pretty strongly,
Uh-huh.
but not a bolt like we
Uh-huh.
had last
Great.
year.
Yeah.
So then for the second shot, we decided that I would do it because
Uh-huh.
she's just more comfortable
Hmm.
with me. Um, so anyway, so we did the same thing, consent. The vet was holding the lead line now. Um, threw the treats in the bucket, put the shot in. She actually stepped into me. She didn't try to bolt, but she stepped into me and landed on my shoe, not on
Oh
my
no.
foot, just on the edge of my shoe. So I thought I was going to fall over, but I got the shot in. She was fine. She was
Great,
fine.
great.
And so then the
Yeah.
vet was like, "Why don't you just take some time to finish out your session?" Because she understood like the idea of a session. I took her off the
Hmm.
line. We went back to consent, me just touching her neck, no issue.
Perfect.
Went back out to see the vet. She let the vet touch her neck. So I take it as a huge win considering that last year we were
It's a huge
mostly
win.
drug
Like it's
behind
a
her.
huge win indeed. Even if she walked away once, because she would totally walk away when she just got bored a little bit.
Exactly.
Just
Mhm.
you did the same thing 3 times in a row, and she's like, I'm done with that.
Yep.
So yeah,
Yeah.
she's really opinionated horse, and
Oh, yes.
she would totally walk away when she would feel uncomfortable, which is
Hmm.
great
Hmm.
because I mean this is a great like turning point for many horses because they learn that they don't have to bolt, they don't have to
Yes.
try to kick or escape or anything like this. They can just walk away. And
Yeah.
many horses do. Many horses, when they realize that they just can walk away, they decide to stay because they know that they had this option, this choice. And
Hmm.
that's,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a huge win. Yeah.
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 Yeah. I was
Perfect.
so pleased. Yeah, that makes me think of something I learned in your class that I hadn't been aware of because I've been doing, quite a bit of reading on behaviorism in
Uh-huh.
general.
Uh-huh.
But the contra freeloading, I
Uh-huh.
think it's just it's so clear, right? It's so
Yeah.
clear that is the case. I love also that cats are the only ones that are like, nah, I'll take the free food, uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is
Cats, actually, I found out that you had cats
yes.
in our calls. Sometimes they would just join the session or the call too, which is very cool. Yeah, cats actually are very, very cool animals to train with positive reinforcement because in the way they really let you do mistakes. Horses, with horses, you have to be really careful because when you just let them wait for too long, they will leave or they will be nippy or bitey or something like that in
Mhm.
the beginning of training. You really
Right.
have to be like straightforward with them. With cats, you can kind of do a few mistakes, or let them, um, they could be waiting for a longer period of time before you get the treat and stuff. They are very patient,
Yeah.
but yeah, they also can get to the point when they're done, and
Yeah.
they can't certainly be trained with pressure. So cats are actually great teachers with positive reinforcement training.
Oh, that's cool. That's really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, coming back to the contra-free loading, I will explain this concept a little bit. So this is what we did in the course a lot, because I really wanted horses to have choice, and I really wanted my students to train their horses in this way, giving them choice. And by choice, I don't mean the situation when the horse either can cooperate, or else, or the horse can just walk away and do nothing, or worst case scenario, the horse either can cooperate or there's a punishment. Like, we don't do this. This is not cooperative care. The horse, when we speak about choice, they really need to have two options that are both good to choose from. So that's why we use contra-free loading, which is basically about the horse choosing the food they have to work for over the food that is free. So um, I do it a lot. I just put a bucket somewhere in the training area, and there's free food, or maybe sometimes the bucket is empty, but whenever the horse chooses to leave the training area and go to the bucket, I will toss some food into the bucket. So, and you might be thinking, okay, but when you do this, how can you get the horse to cooperate in injections? Because no horse would choose injection over food, over free food. But
Mhm.
this is not the case, because when you do it step by step, increasing the criteria in small steps, small increments, then the horse will choose to work for the reward. So this is contra-free loading, and this is what you were basically doing
Mhm.
when you talked about how you set your scene, your training area with the bucket,
Mhm.
and with all that choice that you provide. You also mentioned that you have hay available, which is a
Mhm.
very good thing to give the horse choice.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, so yeah,
Well,
so
and the
this is
thing
basically
I
contra-free
think
loading
about
in
it,
practice.
yeah, so I always have hay, and I'm in an arena where they store hay, so there's a bunch of hay at the backside of the
Uh-huh.
arena. Um, which she used to choose over me. But I use that actually as a chance to teach her come to me command. And so
Uh-huh.
if she would choose to go to the hay, then I would stand a little ways. At first, I'd have to stand pretty close, right? And then now I can stand halfway further across the arena and just ask her to come to me, and then she comes.
Perfect.
Um, but the way I see too the choice in the contra freeloading, right? So she has this choice to walk away, she has this choice for her hay. I think more than like she's choosing the injection, but she's choosing to engage. They're such
Yeah,
social animals and they want to engage with you if it's fun, if it's positive, if it's like something that they enjoy.
totally. Yeah,
She really
yeah.
wants to do that. I think all of them really want to do that. Um,
They want to
and
have
I think,
fun. They prefer fun over just
yes,
having a free food, especially when the free food is available all the time.
yes, yes, exactly. And that's something too, I think, that I would hope like your class and the other folks and, just people doing this, like, just be with them, right? Like
Yeah,
they just like to be with us. And I think particularly when you board, it's hard because you have limited time that you're out there, and so it feels like, oh, I only have an hour, I have to work them. Um, but then they don't really like to be with you, you
no,
know?
and there's a whole brain chemistry behind it. I mean, their brain release oxytocin when they bond with you, and this is so important. And it really helps them want to be with you. So
Mm.
training is one thing. Training is very important, but also the time we spend with them without asking anything is so important and
Hmm.
without necessarily touching them. We as humans are usually very touchy. We want to touch things. We want to
Hmm.
touch animals. We want to pet them because they're so fluffy and nice and cute and stuff. But horses aren't necessarily this way.
Yeah.
I mean, so just, spending some time with them, giving them space to see how far they want naturally stay away from us, if it's like 1 meter or, yeah, 3 feet, if you're
Hmm.
an American,
Hmm.
or,
Yes.
yeah, I struggled a little bit to get the measurements right. I mean, with feet, and miles, I'm pretty good, but with, how is the fluid ounces and these
Oh,
things. Never
I don't think that.
Fahrenheit. Oh my God.
No, I get confused. They don't make any sense.
Yeah.
Can we just do a 10 base, please?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. So it just, spending time with your horses, it's so important.
yeah, yeah. I know one thing I do once it's nice, like because we have pretty rough winters here. But once it's nice, I they have an outdoor arena where she is, and so I take her on walks and we go there and then I let her offline and I never do anything with her in the outdoor arena. Um, so she's free. It's sand, or dirt, but there's always stuff growing along the edges, right? So there's stuff to eat. So she's free to go um graze along the edges, do whatever she wants. And what's neat is that she will always come and check back in. So
Amazing. Yeah.
she'll go away, she'll come check back in, and then she'll keep grazing. Or she'll go to the gate and then she's done. And she
Uh-huh.
tells
Uh-huh.
me, right? And so I really like that time. And that time I just sit, on the mounting block that's out there, with my coffee and just enjoy watching her. Because that's what she wants to do, right? And
Yeah,
it's so peaceful. It's so meditative, really, to
it
get to have that
is.
time with her. Um, And then the other thing I do, because I do want a lot of touch with her, and she
Yeah.
doesn't, so I trained her to give kisses.
Yeah.
So then it's like she's like, okay, sure, so she'll give me a kiss or she'll give me a hug, with a
Oh, that's so nice.
yeah,
Yeah, this is so important to really spend time with our horses outside training, and then you can really observe what's their relationship to you. If they want to stay with you, or if they want to come back to you, if they come back to check in with you, like, hey, I'm exploring this environment, it's pretty cool, what do you think? Or
mm-hmm.
if they disengage the very moment you let them off lead. So this
Mm.
is very important, and we often tend to take it personally. The horse doesn't like
Mm.
me, and the same thing we tend to do when the horses know. When the horses know, in cooperative training, there is consent-based training, and of course, when there is a yes, there has to be a no, right? So
Mhm.
when we want to hear yes from our horses, we have to let them say no. And we oftentimes take it too personally when the horse says no, because
Mm.
it's kind of frustrating. And especially if we are in the beginning of our training and someone is watching us, especially
Yes.
traditional equestrians,
Yes.
like, what are you doing with your horse? And then your horse leaves you.
Right.
It can be so embarrassing. So how do you approach this? Do you ever feel embarrassed, or do you take it personally when Penny says no?
Yeah, so not anymore. But
Hmm.
I will say in the beginning, certainly, I felt a lot of pressure,
Hmm.
from both my own perspective of what I thought people might be thinking and things that I'm pretty sure people were thinking.
Yeah.
So it was compounded in my head, but I know it existed too. And so yeah, I remember when I first started, I was almost like this is almost embarrassing, but I was almost like secretive like
Secretly clicking somewhere in the corner, right? Yeah.
and I still go to the barn in the morning, mainly because that's just my favorite time of day. And I don't like a crowd, anywhere, particularly not at the
Yeah,
barn.
same here.
And so, you know, so I enjoy that time that I can have with her and, now Pixie that I'm working with as well by myself. But it would be in early on, like if somebody else got there, I'm done. Oh, I'm finished. Right? Like I just didn't. And now, like, it's probably in the last like 2 years. So that lasted a little while for me. But in the last couple of years, I'm like, no, I know I'm doing right by this horse. Right. And it took me a long time to recognize, like, or I didn't doubt that I was doing right by her. I did doubt if I was doing the best for her.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Because most of the messaging was in this area, where I live, most of the messaging was like, this is not what you do,
Yeah, not the
you
way we
know?
treat horses, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
you're ruining her or,
Mm-hmm. Her potential,
whatever.
right?
Yeah, oh, her potential. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That one I still will hear like, "Oh, look at that. Look at that beautiful gait. Look at that beautiful flat back." I mean, she should be a halter pony. She's gorgeous. But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna clip her and take her to shows and like, you know.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I think she enjoys her life. So, yeah. And
yeah.
so now you are very
So
confident
now
in
I'm
training
like, oh,
her
do you want to see what
positively.
Penny's doing? Like,
Uh-huh.
and then what happens is that people are like, oh my gosh, how did you get her? Wait, she comes when you call her? Like, how did you get her to do that? How do you have a bond with her? Like,
Yeah.
because I put in the time, like,
You're
and it
right,
was
right.
so
Time and
worth it.
effort.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so worth it. So now I just feel really proud of her and myself as well that like I gained that confidence to be like,
Yeah.
and so
And do you also teach clicker training? You mentioned that you've done some demos or something like that. Do you also do
yes.
courses?
So I did a class last summer out at where she lives. Just I called it the science of clicker training because that's like I am a scientist in my professional life. I like the like theory and why does this work the way it does and kind of the understanding of behaviorism behind it and why negative reinforcement also works, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
It's
so
very important to
understanding.
understand the principles behind the training.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I called it. And so I did a short, it was probably a little longer than short, but a presentation basically on it. And then I brought Penny out for a demonstration. And
Mm-hmm.
she like blew everybody out of the water. I was like, oh no, how is she going to be? She never has an audience. And she was great. She was so great.
And what did you do with her? What exercises did you do, or what did you show? I'm interested.
Yeah. So it was only, I kept it really short. So I showed her, mat, how she would stand on her mat. I showed her targeting, and how you could use targeting for kind of all sorts of things. I showed how you can use this approach for exercise by doing a little bit with a reverse round pen. That was when I was first trying to do consent, um, not in the best way. So I showed like, hey, this is just the beginning of this. So I showed a little bit of that, and then I showed like how to just have fun. So we played ball. She loves to push a ball around the arena with me, so we did that.
Nice.
And then she loves to smile, and so we had her smile and kiss
Oh,
and hug,
nice.
and so everybody's like, "Oh my gosh!" And she did actually walk away from me once,
Mm-hmm.
because the back door was open. The gate was closed, but the door of the barn was open, so she could see the other horses. Um, and I just walked over and asked her to come, and she walked back with me. And I remember one woman was like, "You were so calm. Like when she walked away, you were so calm." I was like, "That's not a problem. It's just,
Yeah,
just gonna like
it's a
bring it back."
conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So now I'm training Pixie, who you
Uh-huh.
saw in the
Mm-hmm.
videos too sometimes. So that's Penny's herd mate.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's owned by the barn owner. And then I just started my second visit with them will be Sunday. A friend of mine, she's actually a vet, but she's a dog and cat vet. She has a herd of five quarter horses,
Uh-huh.
all boys, all gelded boys. So I'm just starting with two of them. Uh,
Perfect.
yeah, yeah.
Nice.
So I'm so excited, and then I
So,
do want to do more. I really want to like train. I mean, it's what you do too, right? You don't train the horses, you train the people
Yeah,
because
most
it kind of
often.
doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you train the horse, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah, it always makes sense to train either both of them or, the horse and their people
Hmm.
and or the people. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you can train the horse, you can explain the training to the owner, but when the owner doesn't get to practice, they will forget very easily and they will just turn to what was working before. So
Yeah.
that's amazing. And now you can start also doing some cooperative care demos and stuff because you already know how to do, how to train all different kind of procedures.
Yes,
And
yes. Yeah.
yeah, coming
Well, and
back
that's what my
to
hope
our
with the
course.
vet is
Uh-huh.
like she would one, she just knows a lot of people with horses, but
Uh-huh.
like she would love it if her horses
Yeah.
now her horses are pretty cooperative on most things, but like one of them needs eye meds that it bites. So I'm like, all right, that's our first goal, right? Is
Uh-huh.
we're gonna work on getting to the eye and touching the eye and eventually getting meds in the eye. So yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, coming back to the course a little bit, what was the most challenging part of you for you? Was there any specific procedure or any specific task that we did that you found challenging for your penny?
Yeah, so I think I think the I think the biggest learning curve that happened, we already talked about, right, was that recognizing when to listen, when to see what she was saying with touching. And then that was like just huge. Once we overcame that, then we had so much we could do. Um, I think one place we still are struggling, we're working on oral meds. Um, so I can hold her head quite well. I can put something on her cheek quite well. Getting, the syringe in her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she's just trying to bite it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
yeah.
so
Many
trying to
horses
do
do
that
that. Yeah.
real slow and then the other problem that where I struggle there is I want to put something in the syringe that's yummy, right? So that
Uh-huh.
so that it's kind of a reward at first, but she hates apples.
She
Um,
has, yeah. Okay.
so and so
Try
I had it
carrots.
come up.
Try something different. Yeah. I know
Yeah,
many
I need to
horses.
boil and puree carrots. I think that would
Uh-huh.
work because she loves carrots, but I need to get them
Okay.
soft,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, or I get baby food carrots actually would probably work.
Uh-huh.
Uh, so yeah, so that one I think we're way closer than we were on oral meds, but I
Mm-hmm,
still find
mm-hmm.
that one of her most challenging. And then the other one that that is now coming along really well, but was the magnetic hand. That one
Okay.
felt
So can you
like,
explain what magnetic hand is? It's one of the exercises that we did in the course.
yeah, yeah. So, the way I think of it, right, or that I do it is that you're going to hold your hand up close to the part of your body, their body,
Mm-hmm.
that you want them to bring into your hand. And then they're going to bring that part over. And so I'm just right now on the face. And so we're doing cheek, we're doing eye, and I'm trying to add ear, which she's not understanding ear yet. But when I first was doing it, I thought, oh, she does not get this. Like it was, and I think it was, I think it was me, either holding it too far away or her being like, do you have a treat there? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Um, but now we're getting somewhere with it.
Uh-huh.
I really
Perfect.
feel like we are. And what I've done with cheek versus eye is I'm kind of changing my hand shape because of course they're so close.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Mm-hmm.
I hold it up flat to ask her for cheek. And then, you're not far away, obviously. It's not like you're standing 5 feet away asking them for
Yeah.
their cheek. You're right there. And she turns her head into me. For eye, I hold it a bit higher and I cup it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And she's bringing her eye in, right, to the cupped hand. And she's not sensitive on her eye. So that's nice. So I do that. And then I like maybe kind of pull the lid, or do something like I would do if I was going to do some meds. I think ear is harder probably because she can't really see my hand,
Yeah.
right?
So maybe if you added some voice cue or something like this, or touched her
Mm,
ear before, and then let her. go to your magnetic hand or something like this. Just play around with it, but
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure you will figure it out because I really liked how creative your training was, and I really especially liked how you used the wreath for
Oh,
the.
yes.
That was so creative. Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Yeah. So, I started that, um, over a year ago. I started using just a form that you would use like to make a wreath, so like a foam form,
Mm-hmm.
which then I learned you need to tape with duct tape because they can break it very easily,
Yeah.
because it's just foam. Um, but anyway, I started that because one thing when I did the class that I was talking about, these horses that won't halter, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's so challenging. Particularly when they're really tall, right? Penny's
Yeah.
not super tall, but when they're really tall, it's really challenging. And so I first saw it as this like, how could you like train a horse to, put their head down and through something? So I called it through, and I trained it first by holding. I had a larger one first because I didn't want her to feel constrained by it, since we talked about like how she hates pressure, and I would just hold the treats on the other side of it. So she had to stick her head through it or her snout, not her whole head, but her snout through it to get the treats. And then just transferred that to the command through. Um, and I can hold it up, I can hold it any which way, and she puts her nose through it. And then I went to a smaller one, and then I transferred that to her halter, and to her fly mask as well. So I just
Perfect.
asked through, she puts her nose down through the thing, and I can, finish haltering or whatever. So I initially trained that, not so much because she was hard to halter, but because I saw this as something that people might
Mm-hmm.
appreciate,
Yeah,
and need.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It was very, very creative, and I like it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then for you, what was perfect is because I don't remember which horse it was, but you showed how, I think it was a horse that didn't like pressure or to be constrained,
Mm-hmm.
and you did the arm up
Oh,
for it
the
to
arm
put its
around.
head
No, no,
through.
it was my horse at the time, and he kind of he was okay pretty much with anything, but I just wanted to add a restraint, so I started wrapping my arm around his nose for the warming. But he
Mhm.
thought that he was supposed to touch this arm, touch my hand from the inside basically, so he started putting his head through, and it was so cute. So he basically invented the way that he
Yeah.
wanted his deworming. So
Oh,
that was
that's
so.
so
I,
cute.
I mean, this is so amazing that you can really let the horse lead the training session, and it's not
Mhm.
like you let the horse lead so the horse immediately leaves or the horse immediately kicks you or anything. No, when they really see the purpose,
Mhm.
when they know the principle that for cooperation they can earn some reward, but they can also leave when they don't feel comfortable, they will stay with you and they will
Yeah.
co-create the training session
Yes.
with you, which
Oh,
is the
I love
most
that.
amazing thing.
Co-create. I
Yeah.
love that. That's exactly what it is. Because they
Yeah.
do. They get to define.
Yeah.
You've defined some parameters, right? I need to get oral meds in. But
Right.
then they kind of define how am I comfortable with
Yeah.
getting those oral meds in, and I love the term co-create there. I think it's so
Yeah,
good.
it's all about co-creation, right? The cooperation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just that we tell the horse, do this, and then I'll give you a
Mm-hmm.
treat. You don't have any other choice, just do this,
Mm-hmm.
No, this
Mm-hmm.
isn't the right way of cooperation. Cooperation really should be co-creation, and we
Mm-hmm.
can totally do
Mm-hmm.
it. And that's the most amazing thing about it, that
Yeah.
it's not a rocket science. Like we can
No.
totally do it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
really, and amazingly too, like, so Penny has this very long journey because I didn't know anything, right? And now starting, so I think that that could be off-putting maybe, right? Oh my gosh, it takes so long. Well, now, like Pixie, who I started only a few months ago, oh my gosh, she's where Penny was at 3 years because now I know what I'm doing,
Yeah.
right? Um, but also, like, what's the rush, right? They live 25, 30 years. She's like,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, we can have time. Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
perfect. Perfect. Jessica, thank you so much for this conversation.
Yes.
And last question.
Okay.
Would you recommend the course, or what would you specifically recommend, or who would you recommend it to?
So I would highly recommend the course.
Thank
I
you.
think it was just so, I mean, I hope I've conveyed how huge and helpful it was.
Thank
Kind
you.
of regardless of where you're at, right? Like if you're at the very beginning, I think in some ways I wish I'd taken it a lot sooner, right? I don't know if you were offering it when I
No, no, no,
was
it was the
first
first
starting,
round, so
but in some ways I'm also really glad I took it where I was, right? So I think it could fit, I guess, at any point, right? If you feel like, oh, I'm just at the beginning of this, or I think I'm advanced, right? But I need some help. So I would really, but then I think I would also recommend it. So that's for people who are already kind of bought in, right, to the clicker training, to the positive reinforcement. But I think that for anybody who, you know, sees that their horse is struggling sometimes, because I see a lot of struggling horses, um, and they don't have to, right? I think that
yeah,
like that's the this change in mindset of that oh, this horse has a problem to my care has a problem.
right,
And that's what needs to change. And so I think that, if you're seeing a place where your horse is struggling on the ground, I mean, it could be in the saddle too, but this is obviously focused on ground care stuff. But there is another way. It doesn't
right,
have to be a
right.
twitch. It doesn't have to
Yeah,
be painful. There is another way, and it doesn't take long,
yeah.
if you
It
have
can
the
be a
right
dialogue,
tools.
totally.
Mhm. Mhm.
A
Yeah.
co-creation.
Yes. Oh, I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So perfect, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yes,
I
thank
wish you the
you.
best of luck with Penny and all the horses that you train. And hopefully you will start doing some more demos or courses, because it is so much needed in the equestrian community. Like, people really need to learn that there is an alternative way to wrestling horses for healthcare procedures.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, indeed. Indeed. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. This has been like a super fun class and a fun conversation. And yeah, I'll be in touch as I continue. And I want to hear what you're
Yeah,
doing as
yeah,
well.
we'll be in touch. Thank
Yeah.
you so much and have a wonderful day. See
Thanks, you
you.
too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
You have been listening to the VetCare Training podcast. This was a great conversation. I hope you enjoyed it in the same way I did. And if you know someone who needs to listen to this, please share this episode with them. Don't forget to subscribe to never miss any future episodes, and I'll see you in the next one.